have had a long day and I am getting ready to go work out. I feel like I'm talking quietly because my neighbor is always in the backyard. I don't have that much time. I did want to talk about this concept though. I just want to talk about what I feel like it's a transformative thought, which is just sitting with yourself. Being where you are in your skin and just sitting with that and just recognizing that, just sitting with it, not changing it, not fighting it, just sitting with it. There are so many distractions. We don't even have to list them, right? The phone is a big one. People, that's a big one. Money is a big one. But they're all distractions. Like, no matter what, at the end of it all, we're going to be left sitting with ourselves. When they lay us down, we're going to be resting, sitting with ourselves. And I think that if we can grasp that concept while we are here on this side, it would serve us well. One of the worst things you can do to yourself in your own development is always moving and dodging who and what you are. I am big into prayer and like quiet time because you can't go forward if you don't recognize where you are. That is so important. And then like I was gonna show you guys like all the trees are dead. This was kind of like a gardening thing, and the landscape guys came and like took them all because we had a freeze, whatever, a couple weeks ago, and I got into gardening a couple years ago. I planted this area out. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see all that. It's not important, but it is time for me to think about what I'm gonna plant for next season. But that requires nature is the that nature in itself requires a resting, a sitting, a not doing. If I go plant something right now, it's not going to live. So just the idea that even nature takes a beat, it takes a rest, it just sits there. Absolutely, it looks crazy. Nothing is gonna grow there. I don't know until when. It's just sitting there, just being there. And it's kind of like for me, when I thought about the garden, it made me like take it one step further. And this is a real vulnerable thing. The idea of as you sit with yourself, nobody else. This is not about anybody or anything other than yourself, your soul, your mind, your heart. Is what are the seeds that you have already planted? I am a big seed person. I'm not talking about what anybody has done to you. I'm not talking about what anybody else owes you. I'm not talking about what people have never done for you. I'm not talking about what somebody gave you, how somebody loved you or didn't love you. But what are the seeds that you yourself have personally planted on this side of life? What are they? And I think that if we take a personal account, and that kind of personal account is a major indicator of how successful a person is going to be. Take everything off the table except for your own heart, your own soul, your own actions, and think about what you yourself have planted. And I know like this is like a reoccurring concept in like everything I do because I am a new mom, as many of you guys may know, whatever. And there's all this chatter, mom content, mom advice, mom everything. And even the word motherhood means many different things, has a different connotation, a different feeling to different people, right? And what I noticed, because I am an older mom, I can cut that chatter because I feel like a child is an offspring. It is my offspring. It is what I am giving to the world. What part of myself am I giving? And when I thought about like my child being an offspring of myself and what I want that to reflect, that cuts out so much. It cuts out a lot of people. It cuts out a lot of everything. But then I started taking it a step further and thinking about like, hmm, what kind of other offsprings do I have in my life, as we say, fruit, do I have in my life, and what do they reflect about me? Now, me personally, I know that I have planted both good and bad. But I can honestly say for the last decade, I have sown more good than I have bad. I have put more in. And now it seems that I am reaping undeservingly. It seems that way, but it's like I've already sown and sown, and now I'm not technically in my sowing season. I'm in my receiving season. And it took me a lot. It's so crazy. I just thought about that. I wasn't going to talk about it. I was following this lady on Instagram, and I like to follow like small accounts, like not the big people, but like smaller accounts of people that are living well but not trying to sell you things. Like they are really living well. They're not influencers, they're not staging things, they're not putting on outfits just for social media. They are really living their life, and boom, this is what you get. That's how I bring my content to you. And she put up this thing about being the luckiest girl in the world, and how she walked around with this mentality. And she was just like saying it's gonna sound crazy or conceited, and so if when she frames it that way, but she's like, but just hear me out. I walk around calling myself the luckiest girl in the world because that helps me to be a better person. If I feel like I have these kids because I'm the luckiest girl in the world, guess what? I am the luckiest girl in the world, and you approach life happier and more joyously. She's like, if I feel like my husband is good to me because I am the luckiest girl in the world, I am the luckiest girl in the world. And I think I just put like a little small concept or comment back because I understood like where she was coming from. I just put like the power of life and death is in the tongue. That's Bible, and that is Bible. But people are repackaging the Bible differently now. The secret. And just coincidentally, I had no idea that she was running some type of like appreciation contest or anything. And I guess she was. And she's like, I'm gonna mail you a $500 beauty box. And that was like so crazy because I was actually in the gym parking lot before I put that comment in, and I was kind of like hesitant on commenting because I know everybody likes to feel like they're in an echo chamber right now, that they are just whatever they see themselves as, and that's not reality. And that's why it's so important to sit with yourself and see yourself. And when she said that she was going to send me something like a prize or whatever, I almost rejected it because I always reject gifts because I feel that I am so blessed. Thank you, Jesus. I am so blessed that I don't need from anybody else. Like outside of my house, but because the whole concept was being the luckiest girl in the world, it was like, would the luckiest girl in the world not be a receiver of gifts? Would she not be a receiver of prizes? Or if you really feel that way, which is Bible again, you're the head and not the tail, you know, how would life look to you? I think life gives us so many different chances and opportunities to just sit with ourselves if we listen. Um, for some reason, the ears are shut right now for a lot of people. And it's been a crazy world changing few years. For me, I think ever since 2020, everything has been like upside down, like with the way that people think and the things that other people hold a value versus what I hold a value. So I just wanted to share that with you, just the idea of sitting with yourself and where you are and really, really sitting with it. No matter what it is, like sometimes we're in places that we don't want to be, or sometimes people call us out on things and we don't see it. Everybody else sees it, but we don't see it. And that is, to me, so valuable. If people call you out on things that you do not agree with, sit with it. Let it pass, take it in, throw it out, do whatever it is you want to do with it. But if it bothers you, if it bothers you that people are saying things about you that don't reflect who you are, sit with it and try to just sit with it. That's the main thing. And then think about the seeds that you have sown, not what anybody else has done. Doesn't matter what anybody else has done. Doesn't matter what fell short, what didn't come through when luck wasn't on your side. You just sit with what you have sown and take from that realization how you want to proceed forward. I can remember times in my life where I felt like nothing was working out except for my job. Like the people were not working out, the hobbies were not working out. I felt like the town wasn't working out. Like nothing was working out except for my job. So I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to focus on. I am just going to focus on my job. And then, like when I started focusing on my job, I was like, you know what? I am going to focus on my health as well. And just those little simple things, like these are the things that are bearing me good fruit. These are the things that if I sow into them, they sow and yield what I need to go on. Like I can honestly say, and I do have to go because I'm waiting on somebody to get home, and I'm going to be out the door, and I'm going to change my pants and everything. But I can honestly say, no matter who you are, we forget that. We forget to stop looking at everything that's not working and start looking at what we actually have, what we have, and what we could do with it. Everything else is a wash. If I don't have this, that, him, her, and they, what is left in my own hand that I can operate with? Now the mosquitoes are coming out. So I love when you guys give me comments on these videos. I know that I have not been commenting back a lot lately just because it's crazy. I know it's a whole nother, it's a technical thing where I don't even log into this account officially. I log in like on the back end or whatever, not from like the creator side of it, and that's true. But I am on my Instagram a lot more now, red wine then coffee, just chilling out, doing my day or whatever. So if you comment there, I'll respond definitely for sure. And then I am gonna try to start responding back to comments on this page because I don't know, I feel the need to just do something that's just like my own space, my own headspace, my own ideas that's outside of the baby world. I did see somebody was like, "Oh, you're a mom close to 40. You could like grow such an audience." Da da da. I am in such a blessed place that I don't need to have an agenda. And I love that for me. I love being in that space where the only time that I'm gonna get on here and share something if it's like authentic and if I think that it could be received by someone in like in a more I don't know. There's words that I want to use. Uplifting way, uplifting, uplifting it. I mean, there's a lot of different like semantics that go in my mind, but I'm like, nope, uplifting. I don't need to be your influencer. I don't need to empower you. I just want to feel like that I brought something that's like, okay, that is something that I can maybe use because I don't know. There's a lot of different things that I wish were taught to me, and they're like such simple things. And it's like the things that have made me successful. I don't even know what that word means, but the things that have provided me the most peace and stability. Let's trade success for peace and stability. The things that have brought me the most peace and stability in my world have been so simple. Like as people say, oh, it's all about commitment and dedication and consistency. That is so true. For me, I will add it's also about having a clear, like not a clear, a pure heart and knowing who you are. I'm definitely gonna go because these mosquitoes, they look like gnats, but they will tear you up. Um, but having a pure heart for me, I can see and discern so much just by the time that I spent unknowingly sitting with myself and silencing myself. That's a big one for me. I don't speak on everything. I don't. I don't. I could, but I just don't. So by the time I do use my words, I know how they're going to be planted, if that makes sense, you know? Um, and that's important. Knowing yourself and having a pure heart. Like, let's just say, because I just got done watching the whole Bernie Madoff thing on Netflix. Let's just say if you want to be like the most crookedest crook in the world, and you know that is like your sole motivation. I don't care how much harm I do to other people. I am going to do me, and I'm going to profit for it. Even those people are successful in that, even though it's short lived or it's humiliating in the end, even those people thrive at doing those things if they do it with all of their heart. Like there's no wavering off of that, which brings me back to like one of my favorite Christian songs is Cornerstone. Like all everything else is built on sinking sand. There's certain types of rocks in your life that you have to stake yourself on. And you cannot stake yourself on a rock if you don't sit with yourself and know yourself. And if you can't see yourself. If you received it, let me know. I know it's kind of serious, but I just felt like I just wanted to really just share that and breathe some fresh Texas air. I don't know, it's probably like barely 70 degrees. Thank y'all so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, Karen. I loved watching. Oh, I gotta your journey as a new mother, mostly introspective, actualized woman. Okay, I'll see just for a little while for that. Yeah, being a new mother right now for me is very very interesting. Like that whole idea of like the offspring, it came to me like so quickly because there's so much people like there's so much mom content out there, especially with this new era, this new age of all these people creating platforms, right? Like, okay, for one thing that jumps out of my mind, just so that I'm not like off in the distance, there was a girl that I do like. She has a very small following. I do like her, and she seems very intelligent. But then she made a reel saying how um, the moms that do organic food and talk about homeschooling their kids. And it was like she made like a frowny face with it, like she's not trying to hear that, like girl, whatever, bye. And it's like, but that's me. But one thing I do know is that your offspring is a reflection of you, and you do with that however you will. I'm not going to come and bash another mother for any of the choices that she made because her offspring are a reflection of her. I have come through life on a full journey of my own. So, however another person does it is on them. However, and this is because you said about the motherhood, however you choose to do motherhood is on you. And that is the main thing that you should receive in your life is what traits or attributes do you want to pass on or that do you want to nourish. That's why I kind of like stay away from my motherhood journey or dialogue or conversation. And I remember like talking to a guy, a manager at one of my favorite restaurants, and I was still pregnant, I think, or maybe the baby was in the hospital, but the baby was not home yet. And I asked him for parenting advice, and he gave a very sophisticated and classy answer. He's like, and he's always smiling. His name is Keith. He's always smiling. He says everything with a smile. He's like, well, I'm not gonna give you any because your way will never be my way because we all gotta do it our way. And at the time, I was like, you know what? I got it, but now I even get it more so. I get it more so because as I'm living it and I'm hearing it, it's like, wow, that is so true. We are not all walking the same path. I don't care where you come from. It's not the same because you've been different places. Unless you have like a Siamese twin, then maybe y'all might do it the same. Maybe you guys are doing the same, right? But yeah, I think just the idea um, of that. I feel like in real life we'd be besties who disagreed all the time, then agreed all the time, then laughed and drank wine. I don't know. I don't really disagree with people, like, because I understand. Oh, somebody else had a comment at the same time. I don't really disagree with people because it's kind of like, girl, whatever you want to do, you do you. I'm gonna do me. I don't have to disagree. Um, hey, Victoria, I see that. I watch you because you're uplifting and power going through a divorce and pregnant. Oh, just stay encouraged. That's the main thing, right? Like I think that we do need encouragement and uplifting, and we do need to recognize like this whole idea of agreeing and disagreeing is a false reality. That's a absolute false reality. There's no such thing as right or wrong in the minutia of life. I really stick to the code of do no harm to yourself or others. That is the basic foundation. Do no harm to yourself or others, okay? Is everything else is a wash. Just because I'm Christian, you're Jewish, Buddhist, whatever it is, as long as you stick to that, all your other little things in there, that is irrelevant to most people. And I think that I wish that society would collectively get there. It's like talking about grains of rice or sand on the beach, what you agree with or what you disagree with. it's so irrelevant to actual movement. Does that make sense? Because I do subscribe to the idea of watching your thoughts and seeing your thoughts come and go and not being riled up or moved by them. I know I've had to grow into that, and I'm still growing into that because there are things that will trigger us. If we're not careful, see how I put that in. I really don't believe in triggers because that's like for guns and machines, right? We are a human being and we can filter how things affect us. Not only can we filter what we say and what we do, we can filter the effects. Like one main concept that I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go. He can't see me. He looking around for me. I can see. He just thinks I'm being weird. He's. Oh my God.